Today I will talk about the organization structure of a German infantry division in World War II. I will talk about an early division around 1939-1940. Now, as you can see, I use NATO counters, but I include all the information that is in the NATO counter and also put it in the text. So basically, for those who don't know NATO counters, the symbol above, the two X's in this case, mean what formation it is. In this case, it's a division. The symbol below, the big X, in this case means it's an infantry unit. If you're unfamiliar with formation sizes, I give you a short overview now so that you have a basic understanding how they relate to each other. So first, in this case, we have the division. It usually consists of several regiments, where each regiment usually contains several battalions, and the battalion consists usually of several companies. A company, furthermore, is usually divided up into platoons. Now, there are units above a division and there are units below platoons, but they are not really covered in this video, and so I leave them out. Some restriction for this video, because else it would probably take hours, not minutes. First, I don't mention the staff unit or the commander. I don't mention very small subunits, and I mention supply units, but only dedicated ones, because it would just clutter everything. I usually don't mention units below company strength. And finally, motorization I only mention when I think it's important. So let's get started. A German infantry division consists about 17,000 men, and the German name for it was Infantry Division. It consisted of 3 regiments with about 3,000 men each. 1 artillery regiment and 1 anti-tank battalion. Furthermore, a signal battalion and a Recon Battalion, and finally an engineer battalion. Now, if you look at the numbers, you probably go, well, that doesn't add up to 17,000 men. First of all, these are only the fighting units I show you, and which I cover in the first part of the video. And in the second part, I will talk about support units like supply and medical services. So let's take a look at the infantry regiment. In German, it was called Infantry Regiment, and it consisted of 3 battalions of infantry with about 850 men, a company with infantry support guns, an anti-tank company, a platoon for signaling, and a recon platoon, finally a platoon with engineers. Now this looks oddly familiar. Let's take a look at the division. Well, it's pretty much the same. Let me explain why. Every major unit in an infantry division should be a self-sufficient unit, meaning that it should be able, with all its men and equipment, to achieve its mission without the support of the main or other units. So let's take an example. Let's look at the infantry regiment again, and let's take away the company of support guns, the anti-tank weapons, and the engineers. Now imagine the infantry is on the defense and they are attacked by another infantry regiment which is supported by tanks. So basically they only can call the division HQ to support them with anti-tank weaponry. Now let's assume the infantry regiment is on the offense. They encounter pillbox. They have no support guns and also no engineers with flamethrowers. So what are they gonna do? Well, they're gonna call the HQ again. You see, for the unit to be self-sufficient, it needs proper combat support units, as it can't act in an independent way and fulfill its mission on its own. So let's take a look at the next regiment, the Artillery Regiment, or in German, Artillerie Regiment. It consisted of 3 battalions of light artillery. Each of them was equipped with 12 105mm field howitzers. So in total they had 36 light howitzers, and a battalion of heavy artillery, which included 12 150mm field howitzers. And for defense purposes, mostly against air, it was equipped with 24 light machine guns. Now let's take a look at the individual battalions. First, the anti-tank battalion. In German, it was originally called Panzerabwehrabteilung, which basically means tank defense battalion. And later on in 1940, the name was changed to Panzerjägerabteilung. Panzerjäger basically means tank hunter, and it's, in my opinion, one of the most badass names in German. This unit was composed of 3 anti-tank companies. Each company was equipped with 12 anti-tank cannons, so in total they had 36 guns. And additionally, for support and defense region, each company had 4 light machine guns and an additional 6 one on the battalion level, so they had 18 machine guns. And very important, this was the only unit with battalion size that was completely motorized. So let's take a look at the next unit, the Signal Battalion, or in German Nachrichtenabteilung. It consists of a company equipped with field phones and a company equipped with radios. So let's take a look at the next unit, the Recon Battalion, or in German Aufklärungsabteilung. This unit didn't exist in peacetime. When the war broke out, they used cavalry units and integrated them in their infantry divisions. So the first company is basically simple a cavalry unit. The second one is a light recon unit, which consisted mostly of bikes and motorcycles. The third was a heavy company, which included anti-tank guns and was motorized. And it also included the only armored vehicles in the whole infantry division. 3 armored cars of the same type and 1 equipped with special radio equipment. They were only armed with 1 light machine gun. And finally a signaling platoon. This brings us to the final combat unit, the Engineer Battalion, or in German Pionierabteilung. Consists of 2 companies of engineers with horse-drawn equipment and another company that was fully motorized, and also a column for bridge equipment. This was also fully motorized, but these were not combat units actually. This column consisted mostly of people that were in charge of the transport and the maintenance of the bridging equipment. Which also brings us to the next part, the non-combat units. Note that these units don't have any dedicated superior unit like a battalion. So let's take a look at them. At first the supply services, or in German Versorgungsdienste. And we have a small unit for administration. They basically determined what was the demand of the whole unit, what was needed for supplies. Then we have a baker company. They made bread and lots of it. And also a butcher company. They basically butchered pigs, cows and sheep and made sausages out of them. And finally a small section for the field postal service, which was very important for the morale of the troops in the field. Now the supply services heavily relied on the supply chain management, or in German Nachschubsdienste. These consist of 3 columns of transport units that were motorized and another 3 columns of transport units that were horse-drawn. And also a column for transporting fuel. Now the next unit is very important, it's the supply company, and it was basically in charge of setting up all the distribution points. And finally a repair company, which was also motorized. Now this company was in charge of repairing everything the division needed. It included light machine guns, horse-drawn equipment, field kitchens, basically everything that could be repaired, these guys repaired. Which brings us kind of to the next part, to the medical services, or in German Sanitätsdienste. Now the first company was horse-drawn. The second company was motorized, as was the field hospital, which was usually located way behind the front line. Hence the transport columns with dedicated medical trucks were used to transport the wounded soldiers from the front line to the field hospital. And the medical services don't really end here, because the division also needed veterinary services, or in German Veterinärdienste. There was 1 company of veterinaries. Now you probably ask, a whole company for veterinaries? That's a lot. Actually, that's not a lot. If you consider about 16,900 men served in an infantry division with about 5,400 horses. Basically for every horse you have a little bit more than 3 soldiers. This gives you also a good impression about the limited amount of motorization in the German army. So some final remarks. As always, the sources are in the description. The major source is at the top. It is available in German and English. I use the original German version. Note that all Amazon links are affiliate links. If you have any questions about the German Infantry Division, please leave them in the comment section so I can cover them in an upcoming video. Finally, credit where credit is due. The unit counter design is basically the same as in the Black Ice mod for Hearts of Iron 3. So special thanks for the Black Ice team. I also highly recommend the Black Ice mod. It makes Hearts of Iron 3 a complete different game. Check out the description for a link, and thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and see you next time.